Let's continue on. We believe we only have today and 2 more days of St. Paul's letter to the Philippians. We're in chapter 3. It's only 4 chapters long. So we're almost done here. And St. Paul begins with the phrase, we the circumcision. So he's referring to, first and foremost, those Jews who have believed in Jesus to be the Messiah. You got to remember, St. Paul and many of the early Christians didn't consider themselves like, we're Christians and not Jewish anymore. Like, they didn't think like that. You know, we're still Jewish. We're still, fathers of sons of our father Abraham. But we found all the promises, all the promises in the Old Testament, we found them fulfilled in Jesus Christ. And that's how they saw themselves. They were Jewish who believed and had faith in Jesus to be their Messiah. Really, this kind of separation between Jews and Christians doesn't really happen until after 70 A.D., when the temple is destroyed, and also Christians are kicked out of the synagogue and sort of thing. So anyways, St. Paul, again, identifying himself as a Jew who believes in Jesus, places his boast and his faith and his righteousness in his relationship with Jesus Christ. And then he goes on in the middle of this first reading that he is the most confident in the flesh. That he's a very faithful Jew. And he gives his credentials. He's of the race of Israel, the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, we'll learn, if you're taking my Bible study, we'll learn about that. What are the different tribes and what do they mean? What were their significance? Benjamin was the tribe that had Jerusalem and the temple. Okay, so they were located within the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, he was a very faithful observance of the law of the Pharisee. Now, again, when St. Paul says Pharisee, he means it in a good connotation. Okay, the Pharisees were very righteous, devout, faithful followers of the law, teaching people how to put that faith into practice. So the people that Jesus are criticizing was only a select few, maybe the more powerful ones within the faith. But for the most part, the Pharisees were well-respected observers of the law in early Christian. And that's what St. Paul, he was a very devout and very good Pharisee. But everything according to the law, he was blameless. And then he says this at the end. Whatever gains that I had, all the accomplishments of St. Paul as a faithful Jew, all of these are considered a loss because of Christ. Everything has a loss because of the supreme good of knowing Jesus Christ, my Lord. And that's the most important point this morning. Everything that St. Paul accomplished can be set aside because he has now what the law, what his faith was pointing to. Jesus Christ, the Son of God. All the promises that God made in the Old Testament fulfilled in him. And with that, St. Paul puts everything, all of his trust, not in his works and his accomplishments and his skill sets, all of his trust he lays into the hands of the covenant relationship he has with God the Father through Jesus Christ. And that's what we're called to do as well. You wake up every morning and you might have, maybe I'm speaking for myself now, you have all these worries and stuff that you have to get done today. And you just simply have to first begin your day with just this little prayer of everything that I have is in your hands, Jesus. Everything. And I mean that. I mean that. Because this is God's work that we're doing. We're his servants. Has go even more extreme at the beginning of this letter. How does St. Paul identify himself as a slave of Jesus Christ in this letter? A slave, meaning that everything he does for him. And everything that needs to be accomplished is going to be done through not just our own efforts alone, but our working with the power of God through the Spirit within us. Place all of your cares, everything that keeps you up at night, everything that you worry about, relate it to him. Cast your cares and worries onto him. May God bless you.